Hello and welcome to Quiz Class. I'm your host Ellen, and today we have 100 questions on general knowledge. Let's take a look at our Quiz Class awards. And here they are. Let us know how you rank in the comments at the end, along with the answer to the bonus question. Who is the only MLB player to have hit 2 Grand Slams in a single inning? Fernando Tatis, Frank Thomas, or Larry Walker? Fernando Tatis. Which 1981 computer first used the desktop metaphor? Apple Lisa, Commodore Amiga, or Xerox Star? Xerox Star. In what year did the National Hot Rod Association hold its first official national championship? 1953, 1951, or 1955? 1955. What did the Hollywood sign in Los Angeles originally say? Hollywood area, Hollywood land, or Starland? Hollywood land. How long can a cockroach live without its head? 1 month, 17 days, or 1 week? One week. In which country was the first GSM mobile service implemented? Finland, Germany, or the United States? Finland. Which F1 car was the first to use a carbon fiber monocoque chassis in 1981? McLaren M29C, McLaren MP4, or the McLaren M29B? McLaren MP4. Who built the first practical scanning electron microscope in 1937? Manfred von Ardenne, Max Knoll, or Ernst Ruska? Manfred von Ardenne. What was the name of the first PLC which was developed for General Motors in 1968? Allen Bradley, 1771, Siemens Simatic, or Modicon 084? Modicon 084. Which 1978 toxic waste crisis in upstate New York led to the creation of the U.S. Superfund program? Times Beach crisis, Minamata disaster, or the Love Canal disaster? Love Canal disaster. Which Volvo car was the first to include a 3-point seatbelt? Volvo PV544, Volvo P1800, or the Volvo Amazon? Volvo PV544. Which structure was the world's first offshore oil platform? Hibernia, Neft Dash Lari, or Petronius? Neft Dashlari. In what year did Columbia Records introduce the 12-inch 33 RPM LP record commercially? 1952, 1945, or 1948? 1948. Which 1922 film was the first to use the two-color Technicolor process? The Kid, The Toll of the Sea, or Metropolis? The Toll of the Sea. Which orbiter was first flown in 1981 and was the world's first reusable spacecraft? Buran, X-37B, or Columbia? Columbia. On December 3rd, 1992, the very first SMS text message was sent. What did it say? Hello world, testing 1, 2, 3, or Merry Christmas? Merry Christmas. Who invented the first conveyor belt sushi restaurant in 1958? Eiji Toyoda, Haruki Murakami, or Yoshiaki Shiraishi? Yoshiaki Shiraishi. Which building in Japan was the first to surpass 30 stories? Kasumigaseki, Toki Kabukicho, or Akua? Kasumigaseki. Which actor's mother was a NASA scientist who worked on Apollo 13? Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, or Jack Black? Jack Black. Who was the first woman to win an Olympic gold in snowboarding in 1998? Hannah Tedder, Nicola Thost, or Corinne Ruby? Corinne Ruby. Who discovered the existence of radio pulsars in 1967? Nikola Tesla, Jocelyn Bell Burnell, or Yuri Gagarin? Jocelyn Bell Burnell. Which 1978 arcade game was the first to feature background music? Space Invaders, Pong, or Asteroids? Space Invaders. Which 1977 method allowed rapid DNA sequencing using chain termination? Sanger sequencing, pyrosequencing, or nanopore sequencing? Sanger sequencing. Which sculptor created the largest outdoor sky mirror installation? Richard Serra, Jeff Koons, or Anish Kapoor? Anish Kapoor. Which artist created the kinetic sculpture mobiles? Alexander Calder, Naum Gabo, or Jean Tinguely? Alexander Calder. Which Apollo mission captured the famous Earthrise photo in 1968? Apollo 11, Apollo 13, or Apollo 8? Apollo 8. Discovered in 1982 by Stanley Prusiner, which infectious agent causes mad cow disease? Prion, viroid, or virion? Prion. Which composer pioneered microtonal music with his quarter-tone piano in 1923? Ivan Wyshnegradsky, Alois Haba, or Harry Harch? Alois Haba. Which 1953 Rolex model was the first wristwatch created for divers? Diver, Seamaster, or Submariner? Submariner. Who founded the first modern hospice in 1967? Clara Barton, Cicely Saunders, or Florence Nightingale? Cicely Saunders. Which chef is known as the father of molecular gastronomy? Hervé This, Ferran Adrià, or Charlie Trotter? Hervé This. Which 1999 film was the first to use the bullet time effect extensively? Dark City, Blade, or The Matrix? The Matrix. Which country hosted the first FIFA Women's World Cup in 1991? United States, Norway, or China? China. Which bank issued the first modern credit card in 1958? World Bank, Bank of China, or Bank of America? Bank of America. Which 1975 international agreement banned commercial trade in elephant ivory? CITES sites, the Montreal Protocol, or Ramsar Convention? CITES sites. Which U.S. region is known as the Graveyard of the Atlantic? The Caribbean Islands, Hawaii, or North Carolina? North Carolina. Who invented the Steadicam along with Edmund DeGiulio? Garrett Brown, Panavision, or Stanley Kubrick? Garrett Brown. What was the first book ever written with a typewriter? Moby Dick, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, or Jane Eyre? The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. What was the first vegetable to be grown in space in 1995? Tomato, broccoli, or potato? Potato. In 1864, General Sherman's famous March to the Sea ended with the capture of which southern city? Charleston, Richmond, or Savannah? Savannah. Which image format supports lossless compression and transparency? PNG, JPEG, or BMP? PNG. Which of these pant styles was popular for women in the 1950s? Jeans, palazzo pants, or capri pants? Capri pans. Which of these Tupperware products was introduced in 1946? Pie Taker, Wondelier bowls, or Tupper Jewel bowl? Wondelier bowls. Which soda used the slogan, "The One and Only," in the 1980s? Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, or Pepsi? Dr. Pepper. Which 1939 film had the line, "I've a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore"? Gone with the Wind, Wuthering Heights, or The Wizard of Oz? The Wizard of Oz. Which Volkswagen vehicle had the first water-cooled engine? K70, Passat, or Beetle? K70. Which game did James Naismith invent in 1891? Basketball, volleyball, or baseball? Basketball. Which brand introduced the first nylon stockings in 1940? Legs, Hanes, or DuPont? DuPont. Which brand introduced the first disposable diapers in 1948? Pampers, Huggies, or Johnson & Johnson? Johnson & Johnson. Which 1953 novel by Theodore Sturgeon won the 1954 International Fantasy Award? More Than Human, Davy, or The Dreaming Jewels? More Than Human. Which 1967 movie was the first New Hollywood era film? The Graduate, Easy Rider, or Bonnie and Clyde? Bonnie and Clyde. Which children's book by the Viking Press was first published in 1962? The Snowy Day, Pee-Pee Longstocking, or Cat in the Hat? The Snowy Day. Which fruit is considered the smelliest in the world? Durian, meringue, or jackfruit? Durian. Which brand's ad campaign had the slogan, "A diamond is forever," in 1947? Tiffany and Company, De Beers, or Cartier? De Beers. Which car company introduced the Wankel rotary engine in 1967? Ford, Chevrolet, or Mazda? Mazda. Which Pan-African political organization was founded in 1963 to promote unity? African Union, ITUC Africa, or the OAU? The OAU. In Olympic swimming, which of these styles is considered the slowest? Freestyle, breaststroke, or backstroke? Breaststroke. In old cartoons, what letter was used on bottles to indicate alcohol? X, A, or R? X. In Colombia, the Biblioburros is a program that uses donkeys to distribute what? Wood, clothes, or books? Books. For its 15th anniversary, South Park sold a real-life version of which snack? Cheesy Poops, Ferrari cake, or limey sauce? Cheesy Poops. The term spam for junk email was derived from a well-known sketch on which comedy show? 50-50, Monty Python, or The Two Ronnies? Monty Python. The word paparazzi comes from the name of a photographer in what movie? La Dolce Vita, Peeping Tom, or Model Shop? La Dolce Vita. The theme song, Eye of the Tiger, is featured in the third part of which brand movie franchise? Maniac Cop, Rocky, or Back to the Future? Rocky. The name of a popular online game sold by Zynga invites players to form words with what? Letters, money, or friends? Friends. Who designed the Van Gogh Museum along with the Gerrit Rietveld? Kisho Kurokawa, Louis Kahn, or Richard Rogers? Kisho Kurokawa. Who invented the Yuko hair straightening treatment in 1996? Yuko Shimizu, Yuko Nasaka, or Yuko Yamashita? Yuko Yamashita. Who founded the Yummo non-profit organization? Rachel Ray, Paul Cui, or Juan Carlos Cruz? Rachel Ray. Which country has the largest forest area in the world? Canada, Russia, or Brazil? Russia. According to UNESCO, who is the most widely translated author in the world? William Shakespeare, Charles Dickens, or Agatha Christie? Agatha Christie. Prosopagnosia is a neurological impairment in which a person struggles to do what? Read and write, walk, or recognize faces? Recognize faces. What is the last word of the Elizabeth Barrett Browning poem called How do I love thee? Death, love, or life? Death. Which of these topics did Billboard magazine cover in the early years of the 20th century? Music, advertisements, or circuses? Circuses. A photo taken on May 25, 1965 shows Muhammad Ali standing over which defeated opponent? Sonny Liston, Floyd Patterson, or Carl Mildenberger? Sonny Liston. What country did Amelia Earhart land in after her 1932 solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean? France, Northern Ireland, or England? Northern Ireland. Which Central American country was named by Columbus after the Spanish word for depths? Nicaragua, Panama, or Honduras? Honduras. Which cosmetics company popularized the term makeup? Kiss Proof, Max Factor, or Maybelline? Max Factor. What sport did Julio Iglesias play professionally before he became a singer? Basketball, rugby, or soccer? Soccer. Lava lamps were popular in the 1970s. What type of wax were they made from? Paraffin wax, beeswax, or animal wax? Paraffin wax. In the movie Pulp Fiction, Samuel L. Jackson's character quotes which religious book? Ezekiel, Ecclesiastes, or Isaiah? Ezekiel. Who introduced Johnny Carson as the new host of The Tonight Show in 1962? Groucho Marx, Steve Allen, or Walter Cronkite? Groucho Marx. Who wrote the marriage advice, whenever you're wrong, admit it. Whenever you're right, shut up? Stephanie Coontz, Ogden Nash, or Aretha Franklin? Ogden Nash. What is Mrs. Butterworth's first name? Joy, Anne, or Grace? Joy. Fela Kuti is credited with creating which genre of world music? Haitian music, Afrobeat, or bluegrass? Afrobeat. What is fleur de sel? A type of salt, a type of sugar, or a type of flour? A type of salt. Which actress is fluent in French and often dubs her own lines for French translations of her films? Holly Hunter, Naomi Watts, or Jodie Foster? Jodie Foster. Who created the SNL character Sally O'Malley in 1999? Chevy Chase, Debbie Harry, or Molly Shannon? Molly Shannon. What type of berry was popularized by Walter Knott in the 1930s? Lingonberry, boysenberry, or cloudberry? Boysenberry. Which actor was mistakenly declared deceased in a 1982 People magazine article? Abe Vigoda, Sean Connery, or Steve McQueen? Abe Vigoda. Which author defined guts as grace under pressure? Harper Lee, William Faulkner, or Ernest Hemingway? Ernest Hemingway. Which beverage is named after the football team at the University of Florida? Gatorade, Accelerade, or Red Bull? Gatorade. Who became the first American woman to win a Nobel Prize? Marie Curie, Jane Addams, or Pearl Buck? Pearl Buck. Where did England's last public hanging occur in 1868? Brixton Prison, Millbank Prison, or Newgate Prison? Newgate Prison. Which U.S. city presented a ceremonial key to Saddam Hussein during the 1980s? Detroit, Houston, or Miami? Detroit. Which country banned the children's book Green Eggs and Ham in 1968? North Korea, China, or Germany? China. Which mountain was the first 8,000-meter peak to be summited? Mount Annapurna, Nanga Parbat, or K2? Mount Annapurna. Who or what is Bob Dylan's birth name? Robert Allen, Robert Shapiro, or Robert Zimmerman? Robert Zimmerman. Althea Gibson became the first Black athlete to win which Grand Slam singles title in 1956? The US Open, the French Open, or Wimbledon? The French Open. Which TV show's theme was composed by Neil Hefti in 1966? The Addams Family, Star Trek, or Batman? Batman. Where was the first compact cassette developed? Belgium, Italy, or France? Belgium. When was the last time that Olympic gold medals were made entirely of gold? 1924, 1936, or 1912? 1912. And for our bonus question, the bank that installed the first ever ATM machine was what? Let us know the answer in the comments, and of course, how well you did with our quiz class Einstein rewards. Thanks for playing, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.